I can hear you. Are we live? Okay. All right. I may mute my mic when people start coming in. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're streaming, Mr. Ripley. It's all working.
Good evening, Dr. Heller. call in order and start with pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome to our special meeting on January 4th. We'll have a quick statement about the state of the meeting. So due to the federal and state emergency declarations and guidance from the social distancing due to COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting of the Montevideo School Board is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota statutes, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. So 1.3 is approval of agenda.
There's no additions.
No additions, so I entertain a motion. Make a motion to approve the agenda. Thank you, Joe.
Second?
Thank you, Kelly. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. We're gonna do roll call vote.
Yep.
Roll call vote. Here we go. Joe.
Yes.
Becky.
Yep.
Tyler. Yes. Kelly.
Yes.
And Andrews and I. Motion carries. Uh, 2.0, which is the reorganization of the board, which is the intent of the meeting. I will administer the oath of office to the newly elected members. Okay, so I'll have you stand up and repeat after me, and I'll read slowly. It's in your things. I swear and affirm that I support the Constitution of the United States.
I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And of this state.
and of this state.
And that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the oath of the office of school board.
And I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of the school board
Of Independent School District 129.
of Independent School District of Office 129
To the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
All right. Congratulations. Welcome to the board. 2.2, now we'll go through and we'll elect officers. First officer to elect is chairperson. And so we'll open up the call for nominations. Nominate Andrew. Any other nominations?
Call 3 times more.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? One of those things that we just done. So hearing that, we'll close.
There needs to be a motion to close.
I'll get a motion to close.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Joe. So now we'll take a roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Becky?
Aye.
Tyler? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
Andrews, aye. Thank you. I'll do my best for you. Open nominations for vice chair.
Nominate Joe.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, we've got Joe nominated. Entertain a motion.
Oh, so I make a motion to close, and cast an unanimous vote for. Is that how that goes?
Yep.
I second that.
Okay, thanks Kelly, thanks Becky. Good. Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do another roll call vote. Joe? Aye. Becky?
Aye.
Tyler? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
Andrews and I. Motion carries. Thank you, congratulations. We'll open nominations for clerk.
Hey, Kelly.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right. We have Kelly nominated for clerk.
Make a motion to close nominations and cast unanimous ballot.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll second that.
Tyler. We have a motion and a second for unanimous ballot for Kelly Snell as the clerk. Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Becky?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Andrews and I. Motion carries. And the last of the positions that we'll open nominations for is vice chair. Or sorry, I read vice chair. Treasurer.
Yeah, right?
You nominate the guys not here too.
You could. Do you see any interest?
You sign a few things a year. I can do it.
I nominate Tyler.
Tyler nominated. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? We have Tyler nominated. Treasurer.
I'll make a motion to close the nominations and cast unanimous ballot. Tyler.
Joe. Kelly. Motion and a second for casting a unanimous ballot for Tyler Zachariason for treasurer. For roll call vote. Joe.
Aye.
Becky.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Andrews and I. Motion carries.
Correct, that's okay. I was just gonna thank you.
All right. Well, congratulations, everyone. Thank you. Agenda item 2.3 is appointment of board committees. Thank you. Everybody's got the list. I received some feedback from a couple of board members. But again, if you got questions about what these do, how often they meet, we can answer those and help you make better choices. Like, you start with Merved. It's a tough one.
I guess. How often does Merved meet?
It's every other month, I believe.
Okay.
It coincides with it's actually serving as a member of that board.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those meetings are held at the Merved offices.
Okay.
So I think Maggie was on it before, right?
I know there.
So Tyler expressed interest. I know that. Anybody else?
Yeah. You want it, that's cool. I would, but dive in. Baptism by fire is the best way to learn. It is. That would be
I
my
agree.
advice.
Tyler on that one. That typically just has one, right?
Yes.
All right. Got community ed and Rec advisory light now committee. So this has had two people currently. Kelly and Travis are on there. I think Becky, you'd expressed interest in this.
Only one of those two want to go out. Otherwise, I'm fine with you guys staying on.
No, it's fine. I do mine. That's not me.
You drop off, you stay?
Yeah, I'd stay.
Okay. Okay. best one, licensed and non-licensed labor management negotiations. Currently, it's Joe and Kelly and I. Mr. Zachariason expressed interest.
I gladly succeed. Secede?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take it.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll roll it. We got indoor air quality, health and wellness. I think this is really just health and wellness, right?
Yeah, it's
Safety.
it ends up being two sets of meetings, the health and safety meetings and the wellness committee meetings. Health and safety committee meets monthly, or not monthly, I'm sorry. Health and safety committee meets quarterly, and wellness committee meets twice a year.
Okay. Kelly and Travis are on there now. I didn't get any emails yet. Anybody else from Jones and be on it, but can be. So you guys are still,
I'm happy to stay on it, that's fine.
okay? We got transportation.
We've got two open there.
Yeah.
They don't meet very often, do they?
That meets primarily during whatever year we renegotiate the contract. And it's typically a 2-year contract with an automatic extension on it. And there is a meeting with the extension typically. So it's,
We just signed a contract.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's,
This is, yeah.
so it ends up being,
You can make that one?
I'll make that one.
All right. And Becky, you said you were interested as well?
Yeah.
So it's Travis and Becky. Okay. District staff development and systems accountability. There was 2. Travis is still on there, and I think Darren's probably on there.
Darren is on there.
Darren is on there. Which would be good to have a second on that one. That's a pretty good committee.
That's monthly and it's the second Tuesday of the month.
I can do that. I just have my name on so many already that I probably shouldn't be anymore.
Right. Becky and Travis on that one. The fine arts advisory and the athletic advisory. Did we talk about merging that?
So, and they could be,
I mean, there are 2 different meetings, but they could be one set of,
Yeah,
And
they
they
don't meet very often.
the athletic advisory been once in 6 years, I think you said, Joe.
and the 2 committees, it was one of Mr. Gray's goals this past year to have those become more active, but given the nature of the year,
Right.
that just didn't occur.
Yeah.
mean,
I think there were meetings planned that had to get canceled.
right, there
Pretty
just
sure
was
there were.
not, there wasn't the need for it.
Right.
So,
So there was, Travis and someone else was on fine arts, and Joe and Kelly are on athletic advisory, and then Tyler, you were interested in both, and Becky, you were interested in fine arts. There was plenty of people interested.
I can step back
If you
and,
want to take my advisory, that's fine. Like I said, I've been on it for 6 years, we've met once, so if it gets heated up, you can roll with it.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
You bet.
So,
I'll replace Joe.
okay,
And I'll step down too, Becky, if you want to be on the fine arts, or if it's gonna join it. If you're gonna join one, I'll leave you one on it, 2 or 3. 2 enough? If we join,
I think 2 is probably still enough if they're just combined.
So you think combine fine arts and athletics, or keep them separate?
Up to you. The board committee.
What do you guys want to do? They're both, you know, I mean, like, as a district, we have an activities director, you know, so having two different groups that's just misaligned with district functions.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'd prefer if it was one.
Yep.
Seven people.
That's one.
Well,
So you got 3 people, so you want to have 3 people on? I don't need to be on there. You got Kelly, Tyler, and Becky, if you want to. Do it that way, you do 4-3 or 4-2.
maybe 3 and
We
then.
can go to 3 and then you're always covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Fine.
Tyler,
Becky and I,
Yeah.
between those, and we'll cover both sets. Or will become one
Yeah.
activities advisory, maybe is what.
Okay.
yeah, rename it managed activities advisory committee. Okay. Technology. Joe and I are on this one today. I like it. I'd stay if I can, but it doesn't make any, break my heart if I have to go.
if somebody wants to get on it, they can, I'll stay on.
And just because you're not on the committee doesn't mean you can't go to the meeting, right? So if you're interested, you can still go. If we have 4 people, we have a problem, but.
Right.
Right. We don't watch that. That's the only condition. So. I think
Go for it, guys.
stay with it.
Mhm.
Okay. High school league. Travis, you're on here, and there, I can't remember if it was Darren and Maggie was, but Becky, you expressed interest in this one.
Mhm.
Anybody else interested? Travis, you want to stay?
Sure.
How active is it?
I don't know that I've been to a meeting, I don't think we have any. It was with the situation, I can't remember calling the meeting.
Mr. Gray, are you online?
I am.
Could you speak to the high school league committee that has 2 people on it?
I'm not sure why there's 2. We do have to have a high school league board voting rep, which formerly was Darren. There's not an actual committee that I'm aware of. They send some mailings out, but that would be the only thing that it would involve. There's never been a meeting that I've ever heard of. That would be something that the high school would call. The thing that has happened is there are times that the school has to vote, and there needs to be a board rep and an administrative rep vote. So it's been Darren and I the last, however long Darren's been the chairman.
Okay. Leave it as is. Travis and Becky. Continuing ed, Joe. Anybody else want that? Or Joe?
I'll stay on, if somebody wants it, they can take it.
And then teacher professional development evaluation.
This was a committee that was first started about 10 years ago when we developed the state required teacher evaluation system, which there had always been an evaluation system in place, but about 10 years ago, the state set out some new criteria, and they put together a statewide committee to develop a model policy for teacher evaluations. School districts had the option of either developing their own or of adopting whatever it was that the state came up with. We opted not to adopt whatever it was the state came up with, simply because what the state comes up with doesn't necessarily meet the needs of a school district other than those possibly inside the 7-county metro area. And so we developed our own, and we actually had a person on the committee for the development of the state one. And so anything that was being required at the state level of everyone we were able to get that firsthand and able to discuss it and make sure that what we developed did meet the criteria for the state. It had all of the necessary elements, and we moved forward that way. So, and that was when this committee was formed, and there were 2 people on there then that did represent the school board. And it was Maggie, and I don't recall who else initially, but then Kelly also played around.
Okay.
The committee should meet approximately once a year.
I think we've met more often than that, so, but.
There's been some times where there's some things that needed to be accomplished, but there has to be at least once a year just to monitor the progress and the effectiveness of the model.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. So there's an open spot there. If Becky, you'd expressed interest. Anybody else? Want to stay on there, Kevin?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. That's all standing committees.
That's all standing committees. Okay. And is that the set then that you'll go with?
Yep, that's what we'll stick with.
Okay. All right. And the appointment of standing committees does not require a vote.
Yep, okay. Sounds good. And then 2.4, our annual designations and appointments.
So if you attended the workshop that the School Board Association put on relative to the first Tuesday in January, they talk about making all of the annual designations and appointments in January. That doesn't coincide well with how a school year functions and with how schools operate. Consequently, historically, our district and a number of other districts throughout the state have set those at their end of the year meeting. And our end of year meeting is held the last Monday in June. And at that meeting, we finalize the budget adoption. We also make all of the annual designations. We set the mileage rate. We set board salaries, so forth, all of those things. And then the next fiscal year starts on July 1st. Then also, we don't meet in July, so there are some things that we need to take care of, particularly some bills that have to be definitely paid that need to be done. It can't wait until the August meeting, so we take action on things that need to be done typically in July. Then we just simply don't meet in July. Our next meeting is in August.
Yep.
And so that's just a nuance as to how we've been conducted business within the district.
Thank you for that explanation. Move on to action item. We have one action item, 3.1, which is a resolution authorizing a contract with an interested officer.
Yeah. And so Tyler is an agent with the insurance firm that is our insurance agency of record. And that does create a potential conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest arises anytime there is a potential where the action of a board member might bring about financial gain for the individual. We had to adopt a similar resolution for Joe with regard to the bank. And so it's identifying it. We do have Adam with us, and Adam has does a regular comparison of insurance rates. The review of that doesn't identify what everyone else's rates are in the area, but whenever we do get our rates, it doesn't necessarily break out what the commission is and what the rate is, but we make a comparison with what's happening in other schools. Adam finds out from meetings that he's attending. I find out meetings I'm attending, conversations come up as to what's happening with your insurance rates on the various types of insurance, and we look at where we're at, and our rates have been comparable, if not a little better than what's happening elsewhere. But Adam can speak to the review of the rates.
Yes, thank you. Every 2 years, we go out for quotes on our property liability and our work comp insurance. And so we're in the second year now of that. So this spring, we'll be going out for quotes again. I'm going to share my screen here. And you can see we have a running comparison of our policies, and we provide this every year when we renew in May or June when we approve those rates. So you'll see this year we did have a big increase in our property and liability, but that was not unique to Montevideo. That was kind of an industry-wide increase that was seen. Our work comp premiums have been going down consistently. And so overall, our rates are competitive. The 2020 RFP results that we put out for FY20, starting FY20, and this year FY21, we had 2 bids. Goldman Agency at that time, which is now Citizens Alliance Agency, was the lower bid overall. Midwest Insurance was the other one that came in. Basically, there's limited insurance companies out there, especially for property and liability. And so when one agency quotes it, like with EMC that we've had for a long time, no other agency can quote it. So they're not going to give quotes for 5 different agents. So we're consistent on making sure that it's competitive, and we're in compliance with that. And we just have to make a resolution, identify it, saying that there's a potential conflict of interest there.
Do you have any questions? Did you have a chance to look at the information that Dr. Dillon sent out? Okay. Entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve.
Thanks, Travis.
Second.
Thanks, Joe. We have a motion and a second approving the resolution to authorize a contract with an interested officer under the Minnesota statute listed. We'll call for a roll call vote. Travis?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Nikki?
Aye.
Tyler? Dane? Kelly?
Aye.
Andrew's an aye. Motion carries. And I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, and we can move on to our second portion.
So moved. Second.
We're adjourned. Beth? What? Oh, that's adjournment?
We have to.
No.
6:32.
Okay. So our next agenda is new board member orientation and board training. Bring that over for the introduction to Dr. Dillon.
Great, thank you. So each time there is a board election, we do have new board member orientation for any new members that are elected. And then Montevideo from other districts I've been in is a little unique. When I came in and put in the the local board member orientation program, all of our board members started attending each one of those. And that had not been what I was used to seeing. Other districts I'd been in, people came in, they went through the orientation, they found it valuable, and when they didn't have to attend, they didn't. And I think it's really a strength of our board that our board members do all attend and do all participate in it, in that it serves first as a good way to orient the new members as to what life is like as a board member, what things do occur, to review some of the important factors. And it's, I think, a nice refresher for the more veteran board members as to why it is we do things, what it is we're doing. And from time to time, questions come up as to why do we do things a particular way? And sometimes there's really good reasons. Sometimes it's because we've always done it that way, and that may or may not be a good reason to do that. So I do believe that is a strength. What we do, and a little later we'll get into comments from the board chair as to their perspective on board service. We'll ask some of the newer board members that have been on a little while as to some of the things that they thought of when they were running for the board and what they found out when they got there. And then we also open it to any questions people might have, and as well as any comments other board members may have. So that's a little later in the meeting. Also, before we get to that point, a little later on, we will have all of the members of the administrative team speak briefly about what it is that they do. The real key when I look at board orientation and preparing a person for the board is, first of all, the importance of the board superintendent relationship. The school board and the superintendent of schools work very closely together, and that's by necessity. The board and superintendent are a team, and between the two, that's how the district is run. They're the ones that are really responsible for that. The superintendent is the only employee of the school district that answers directly to the Board of Education. And they're the only person that the Board of Education oversees as a supervisor. And that's as a joint supervisor. And but I think that's a very important distinction. When I came to Minnesota had just changed from having the superintendent be able to be a tenured person to the superintendent was an at-will employee. A lot of people in Minnesota, a lot of superintendents in Minnesota were very bothered by that change having taken place. Having come up from Nebraska, where it had always been that way, it didn't look to me like it was any different than the way life was supposed to be. And the reason for that is that the board and the superintendent have to be on the same page. And sometimes if they're not, then you do need to make a change. And the likelihood of changing one employee as opposed to changing a group of 6, 7, 9, however many it may be board members, but a district can really become hamstrung if the board and the superintendent aren't aligned and on the same page. So with that in mind, I think that it is very important that we look closely at the board superintendent relationship, and that the two be aligned and that they move forward so the district can move forward in a solid direction. Also, One of the things that I'll mention at this point, and we'll talk about it a little more a little later on, is we believe firmly that there should always be a no surprise rule when it comes to the board and the superintendent. And that works both ways. There shouldn't be something that catches board members by surprise if things are going on and it's something that's going to be getting out into the public. I like to have you hear that from the school before you hear it down at the coffee shop some morning as to what's going on. By the same token, if you have questions, get a hold of me and ask me about them. We'll provide answers. Don't sit for a month with a question on your mind and wait until the middle of a board meeting without having given any opportunity to look into what it is that's going on. Because frankly, the question that you have, I may not have any idea as to what that was about. And so I need to be able to at least have time to, it's not supposed to be a game of gotcha either way. And I think it's a no surprise rule. It's a matter of trust between all of the people that are at the table. And as you go through, for example, the school board training that the School Board Association puts on, they will also stress that the superintendent is an ad hoc member of the school board, that they are to be at the meeting, that they are to be at the committee meetings, and so forth. So it's important that everybody work together on that. So again, that's kind of the keys to why it is we have the orientation, to try and just go over some of those things, and then just some of the things that you'll be faced with as you go through all of this with your journey as a board member. So the next thing we'll do is we will have each of the members of the administrative team talk a little bit about what it is they do and their role in the district. And so we will start out with Michelle, who is the office manager and also my secretary and right-hand person.
It's muted.
Yeah.
Should I do gallery or, there she is.
Did you mute it?
Michelle, are you muted?
You looking at 12, so you just see her microphone is muted.
No.
Oh, looks like it's not. It's not working. We can pick somebody else up and then I'll try it out.
Okay, let's move on to Adam and then we'll come back to Michelle.
Sounds good. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, my title is Chief School Business Official. I'm the business manager for the district. Handle all the financial reporting, day-to-day business functions of the district. For the new board members, and if you're not familiar with school finance much, school finance is a fund accounting. So we have the different funds in the district, general fund being our general operations fund. food service, community service or community ed. We also have a Fund 5, which is our capital fund. Fund 7, which is debt service. And then we also have, we are the fiscal host for MERVED. And so we pay all their bills, we hold their money, we employ their employees. So all of the expenses and revenues flow through us. So then we have 2 different funds set up for MERVED, one being their general fund, Fund 71, and then their community service fund, Fund 74. All expenses and revenues for the district have to be coded by to a 17-digit code, which is called UFARS. So it's a big puzzle to put together, but it keeps in track with what the state requires for reporting purposes, as well as the different revenue sources that drive those different areas. So my duties are all the accounting for the district, handling the monthly reconciliations, financial reporting. Every year we have to have an audit done, which consists of auditing all of our financial data, making sure that everything is coded correctly, done properly, and then also creating the financial statements for the district. The revenues for the district are primarily made up of state aid, local levies, federal, and then there's also the other local fees that come into that. Annually, we have about 500 employees. And I also am the health and safety contact person for the district. So line up the staff trainings, manage the accident injury, and do the reporting for that as well. Other stuff that I am involved in, day-to-day, food service, assisting with that, the reporting, the claiming process for it, buildings and maintenance, doing all the purchasing of all of our supplies for both maintenance and district-wide for classroom and everything else. And then handling the district insurance policies. So our business office is comprised of 2 people and we stay plenty busy. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, and Michelle's having problems with her microphone, so hello, Michelle.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
I can hear everybody just fine. Sometimes I'm technically challenged.
So
are you hearing any echo from my iPad?
no, we're hearing okay. You can go ahead.
Okay, good. So hi, everybody. Just wanted to say welcome to Becky and Tyler, and welcome back, Travis and everybody else. I'm just going to give a little synopsis of what I do. First of all, first and foremost, I'm Dr. Teller's pretty much right-hand man, so I assist him with various tasks, including coordinating meeting schedules and communicating with families, among, lots of other things. Responsible for general office duties within the superintendent's office, including postage and answering phones and just lots of other office duties there. Serve as an election official when we have a special election. I got a taste of what that was like last April. That was really interesting, but very informative, and so now I kind of know what things are about there. So work very closely with other office personnel throughout the district. And I work with submitting MARs. I work with open enrollment and homeschool families that send here through personnel files, lots of different things also, but I do look forward to being to school board meetings in person with you guys mentally, and we'll take it from there. So
Thank you, Michelle.
you're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Erica.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, so my name is Erica Zachman. I have been with the district for just over 3 years. My official job title is payroll and accounting specialist. So as Adam said, our business office is made up of 2 people, so it's him and myself. Obviously, my primary and most important job each month is to make sure everybody gets paid on time. But other than that, I handle all of the other HR related questions and issues throughout the district. So staff benefits, so our health, dental, vision enrollments for staff members. I take care of the flexible benefit plan, basically all of the benefit information for all of our employees. Other than that, throughout the month, entering bills, making sure those get paid on time after each board meeting each month, and just kind of anything else that comes up from day to day. There's really no day that's alike. So it's a good range of activities throughout each day.
Thank you.
Erica.
Scott Ripley.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Scott.
Just want to make sure you can hear me there. I am my title is Chief Technology Officer for the school district. I've been in Montevideo now since 1997. I've been in this role for about the last 10 years. My role is basically the management, planning, installation, maintenance, and operations of all district technology resources in all the buildings in the district, including the Merved building, which technically isn't part of the school district, but I provide technology services for them as well. I also do oversight of all district technology expenditures, including the newly renewed voter-approved technology referendum from November. My day-to-day tasks, such things as we're a Google school, so all of our students and staff have, although they have montevideoschools.org email addresses, those addresses are run through Google, and as part of a partnership between our district and Google, we get access to their entire suite of resources for all of our students and staff. And Google is a big part of day-to-day operations for how we run our school system. I maintain network connectivity between all of our buildings. You might want to note our district is an all fiber network, which is best of breed. All of our buildings are directly connected to each other by underground fiber cable. So we're not relying on wireless to go between buildings or anything like that, or fiber that you have to pay like a monthly fee to a cable company or something like that. We do lease a fiber over to Ramsey, but that's a 10-year lease with a smaller local company, and that served us really well. And of course, that one, it's just too far across town to have our own fiber. But the middle school, Sanford, high school, all connected by fiber that we own and that I manage. I manage and repair directly all 1,800 plus Chromebooks that we have in the district. which is used to support our one-to-one initiative. And another thing to note is our one-to-one initiative that we have here covers all students, grades 1 through 12. We're one of the only districts of our size in the state to provide one-to-one all the way down to first grade. So we're really pretty cutting edge on that. And that's a lot of that mainly thanks to our voter-approved technology referendum. I also manage, we have about 450 staff computers. Some of those are in computer labs, not very many anymore, but there's about, like I said, 450 of those. I do all the server management. We host our own servers here. So sometimes you hear things like cloud-based servers and stuff like that. Our servers are self-hosted. It's very cost effective to do it that way. We have 22 servers that I manage for our district, and they do functions such as printer management, manage our heating and cooling systems in the different buildings, manage the library books, time clocks, file storage, network security, antivirus, the JMC student information system, which is a huge part of what we do in all schools every day. That handles our report cards and lunch system and student attendance and parent contact database and that type of thing. I manage, of course, our backup systems and then our wireless access, which is very comprehensive. All of the classrooms in our district have their own access point, which is, again, something that not a lot of places have. I manage our building security systems, which is our door lock systems, intercoms that you have when you come up to the building, and then all of our security cameras that we have at all of our buildings in the district have security camera systems. And then I also do repair and maintenance of classroom technology systems, which would be like the smart boards or view board that you're seeing tonight, that you're watching this on, audio systems in the classroom. So the classroom technology that the teachers use to deliver content to the students, I manage and repair all those as well. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Vera Weber.
Well, hello, everyone. When I started here 5 years ago, I was hired as the technology integration specialist, which meant that I work mostly with staff. And at that time, I worked mostly with staff to help them use technology for instructional purposes or just learn to use technology if they needed to. When Scott Hickey transferred to the high school as the principal, I took over a few of his responsibilities, and one of those was the staff development. So I kind of have a dual role. I'm the director of professional development, but I'm also the district's technology integration specialist at the same time. And so what my main focus is just helping our staff to do the best job that they can, helping them to meet their needs, building capacity in our teachers so that they understand the standards that they're to teach. I'm just finishing up on some training for instructional coaching so I can work with our staff one-to-one, but I've always been doing that. I provide a lot of the training for the staff, either, like I just said, one-to-one or small group. And then I also help to plan all the big events that we do in our district. For instance, I work with a group of people. I work with the staff development committee that you were talking about earlier. I kind of help to organize that and those individuals. And we work together to plan like the fall workshop for all the teachers and all the things that are going on. I work with the MIRVED, with the MIRVED principals across the education district to help plan all the big MIRVED days. So when teachers all go to Lac of Parle in January for a whole day of training, I help to do those types of planning pieces. I also work right now we've got a grant through the Bush Foundation for the Innovative Zone. and to bring more innovation into our school district. And so we have a committee of people that help us to try to become more innovative. And we have the tools, like Scott was just saying, we have all the tools, we have the technology. So it's to help teachers to use those tools to their best potential and to just make our district cutting edge. So in a nutshell, I guess I work primarily with all the staff to help build capacity and to help provide training for to meet their needs. I will say I took on one additional role this year, and that was I teach a high school class, an elective class that's through SMSU called College Now, and it's Introduction to Education. So if there are young people in our high school that are juniors or seniors that are interested in education, we offer a half semester or a whole semester class through SMSU called Introduction to Education. So those are the types of things that I do here in the district.
Thank you, Vera. And Melissa Hanson, our Director of Special Education.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yes, as Luther said, my name is Melissa Hanson, and I'm pleased to be the Director of Special Education for the Montevideo Public Schools through the Southwest West Central Service Cooperative. This is my 4th year with the Montevideo District. As an employee of the Service Co-op, I am the Director of Record for 10 school districts within our area called Region D. But I do work most closely with 3 districts, including the Montevideo Public Schools, which I serve for 2/3 of my position. The other 7 districts that I am director for, I do have a partner assistant director who serves them more directly with my support and oversight. One of the things you might find interesting is one of the roles I perform as a director for the Service Co-op includes the staffing, oversight and evaluation of the professionals serving within these 10 districts who are employed by the Service Co-op. So there's a lot of specialized providers such as school psychologists, physical therapists, occupational and speech therapists. We have teachers for the deaf and hard of hearing, teachers for the blind, visually impaired, and so forth. So my job is to ensure that we have those professionals to meet the needs of the districts that I'm the director for. Specifically within the Montevideo Public Schools, my primary role as the Director of Special Education for the district is to provide leadership and assist the district in complying with state and federal rules and regulations pertaining to students with disabilities. So I interpret for the district issues related to special education due process procedures, compliance with new state and federal laws, educational programming for students with disabilities, and identification of students with disabilities called Child Find. And I also lead the district through the MDE's special ed program monitoring and fiscal monitoring processes and ensure that our special ed reporting requirements are met. So if you didn't fall asleep on that, on a day-to-day basis, my role essentially involves a lot of developing forms, guidance, procedures, providing training and support to the special ed licensed staff. And then I also assist the special ed assessment team, the district administration, and the business manager on all aspects of special ed. So that's my role.
Thanks, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. I think it's important to note that our district has one of the higher levels of special education within the region, and approximately 21% of our student body is receiving special education services. So that's one of the reasons that we have a person who we hire on a 2/3 basis, a 0.67 FTE basis to help us oversee this program. And so we have someone who can specialize just in the special education programming and how to best provide those services to meet the needs of our most challenged students. So that's one of the things there. Another interesting feature of this is that we do house what used to be downtown for the Southwest West Central Service Cooperative. That's now housed out of a portion of what's in our media center here in the middle school. So we house them here rent free. And one of the advantages of that is when they're in your building, you get a lot more than your share of their time, because they're right there to answer questions and help serve and to help out. So I've always felt that was something that more than made up for whatever amount we might have been able to pick up with some rent. So,
Sure. Good.
Bob Gray at Sanford.
So I'm going to come to you from sunny Florida just because it's more fun. And you're probably tired of looking at little circles on your screen. This is my 33rd year in Montevideo, and I pretty much get paid for sitting around doing nothing. So I don't really have a lot to explain. But since you do expect something, I got three titles. For the last 23 years, I've been the activities director, and with that, I oversee and manage the 18 Category 1 athletic activities that we offer, in addition to another 12 Category 2, which would be the non-athletic activities, things like speech, knowledge bowl, math team, the music, all of the theater arts, and FFA, student council are all under my umbrella for the activities position. Obviously, some of the biggest parts of that to the public that they see is making sure that schedules and officials and buses and coaches and athletes are all where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. But I think one of the more important things is just making sure that we follow and meet the Minnesota State High School League rules and policies and bylaws to keep our school out of any court situations or any legal actions as far as that goes. For the last 10 years, I've also served as the principal at Sanford, as well as the community education administrator. At Sanford, our building is probably one of the more unique and first ones in the state that we house not only 5 sections of in-person kindergarten and 1 section of distance learning kindergarten this year. We have 126 kindergartners, which is the biggest class we've ever had in the 10 years I've been there. But we also house a full-scale childcare starting at age 6 weeks and 4 different preschool offerings, which is very, very unique, not only in this area, but in the state. So we rent space to Head Start, who has 2 sections. We want to run our own small rural nursery school program, which has 6 different sections. And then there is also Little Thunderhawks, who offer another option of a preschool. So it's a busy place of a bunch of really short, really cute children. Probably the bright spot of my day is just walking through the halls, and while sometimes it doesn't smell the greatest down one particular hall, they sure can bring a smile to your face in a hurry because they're happy as can be. And when you're having a tough day, if you want to brighten your day, just come spend 5 minutes in the infant room and you'll feel better about everything. With that, the community ed piece then, I don't do a lot directly with it. I'm the administrator. We do have 2 staff that do all of the real work with it. But I oversee it to make sure that things are running smoothly and deal with any of the difficult things that might come up, whether it be a parent concern or some budgetary issues. The 2 biggest pieces of community ed is summer rec, obviously, and our child care, which constitute probably 80% of what we do now. That those two activities have become so large. So that's kind of what I do to keep busy during the day.
Thanks, Bosch.
Thank you, Bob. Bill Sprung, Ramsey Elementary.
Is anybody tell him he's muted?
Thanks. I am the, excuse me, I am the
I have
principal.
to make sure Bill knows what he's doing.
I am the principal at Ramsey. Any given year, Ramsey runs between 320, 350 students. Of the students, about 20% are students of color, 15% are English language learners, and about 50% live in poverty, and that's using free and reduced lunch as the poverty indicator. So we have a population with quite a few learning needs. And really the basic role of a principal is to take all of, manage the time, personnel, and financial resources that other people talked about earlier to the benefit of student achievement so that kids get to where they need to go. That's kind of the overarching goals. The day-to-day may look a little different from day-to-day. It's always interesting. In addition, I write and manage our Title I, Title II, Title IV programs. I am the homeless liaison for the district. I lead the teacher evaluation committee. I write our reading plan, and I do some work with the in-district student testing. In a nutshell, that's what I do for the district.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you, Bill. At middle school, Sean Huntley.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the new board members. It's great to have you on our team and as we move forward to improve outcomes for kids. I look at my role as a building administrator as I have two main responsibilities, and that's to inspire and also to influence. So, and that takes on I use the term influence and inspire in a lot of the things that I do when I look at my job as a principal. And that being with staff in general is inspiring the staff I do have and working with them and evaluating and providing feedback to ensure that we provide the best education possible to our kids. And also when you talk about the influential piece is I feel a major part of my position is the hiring of teachers. And I take that very seriously. And I really believe that the best outcomes for kids is related to who's in front of the students. And so those are the two main things in influencing and inspiring staff. Also, when we talk about communication with all stakeholders, whether it be the peak of the week emails this year or whenever I communicate with parents in general, is also inspiring, trying to inspire and influence in that regards as well. So the main purpose, for me is that we are constantly moving forward based on research to best meet the needs of kids and have those high expectations along with the relationships to ensure that kids feel safe and secure in the building. And also the culture and climate in the building. That's very important to me as far as having that positive school culture and positive school climate. When you walk in the building or you walk into a classroom, we want to see positive things. And we want students to see us being positive and also having a climate that is good for student learning. So all the things that Bill had said and Bob, those things, day-to-day things as an administrator, the discipline and all that good stuff. But I do see my role as an influencer and also an inspirer. So those are my two main responsibilities, I believe, as a building principal.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
And at the high school, Scott Hickey.
Good evening, everyone. Everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Well, part of the benefit and also a negative of going last out of the principals is that everybody got a chance to steal my thunder up to this point. So I think you all understand a little bit what a principal does, so I won't, I'll eliminate a little bit of redundancy there. Primarily at the high school, our main focus is we're trying to shift to getting our students, not only do we want them to graduate, but we want them to be prepared to be successful in what comes after high school. So through our innovation zone and through a lot of the work that we are currently engaging in is we want to have our kids ready for and prepared for and have an idea that they're working towards for what success means for them after graduation. So that's really, I guess, in a nutshell, what my goals are as a principal, not only for kids to learn and do all the things that Sean, Bill, and Bob talked about and everybody else, but that we want our kids to walk out of the doors of Montevideo High School after they complete their K-12 education, that they know what it is that they want to do. They've put a plan in place to try and prepare themselves for that, and that they kind of have, even though they may change their minds as they move forward, an idea of what it is that they want to be as they grow up and enter the workforce, the community, or whatever that might be. So the other things that you might see, especially at the board level, that I will be providing different reports and some of the different things that I do within the district. I am also the district assessment coordinator, which means I am in charge of all the state and local testing that we do. You guys have heard of the MCAs before. Basically, the administration of the MCAs is something that I manage, and also our local growth testing that we do. Which basically we test kids at the start of the school year, and we look at, how they've grown throughout that year. So we can gauge our effectiveness in the classroom, at buildings. We can look at different things that we can tweak to try and improve how we are at the school level. The other things that I'm in charge of is achievement and integration. This is a program that we're a part of with 6 other districts where we get extra funds and we hire extra staff to try and move our students that are struggling to perform and to increase and reduce, reduce the achievement gap. I also manage World's Best Workforce, which is kind of an umbrella that looks at different areas of education, and then also Indian education. So those are the areas that I manage for the district and has staff in all the buildings throughout our district.
Thank you. So as we look at the makeup of the school district, and we look at the role of the school board, which is primarily a policy making entity, the role of the administration then is to take those policies and to implement them. And this group of people are 10 of the about 12 people that answer directly to me. These would be the people that are my direct reports, much like I am your direct report. So when we talk though about the roles of all of these entities, the role of the board, the role of the administration, it's not quite as cut and dry as the board makes policies and the administration implements it and there's no crossover. Because when the board makes policies, the board really doesn't sit down and write up the policies, but rather the board turns to the administration and to the professional organizations such as the School Board Association and the Superintendent's Association to develop the policies, which then we can modify those to meet our unique needs. And so the policy manual that is on your Chromebook that you can access through Google Drive, that's been developed with initially by the School Board Association and by MASA, the Superintendent's Association, and then we've modified some of those policies to meet our unique needs here in Montevideo. So there's some crossover there. You get assistance, for example, from me in helping to develop policies. Now, also, not only are you board members, but you're part of the community. So you understand the impact of a policy on the people within the community. And so you get crossover that way. So the simple rules for the role of the two groups are very clear cut. In reality, it's not quite as clean a cut as that, but rather it's a mixture of that, and it is the board and the superintendent working together to navigate those waters and to provide then the best educational opportunities for our students and for our community. And so that's kind of the way all of that works, and this entire group. Now, as far as an administrative team, and even if they weren't all sitting there listening to me right now, I would say this. Over the years, we've assembled a very strong administrative team. We've got some of the best people in their fields. And I would put these folks up against any people in comparable positions within other districts. Mr. Ripley, for example, talked about the fact that we're cloud-based and that he manages all of these servers. Well, a lot of those are virtual servers, and he took the time to become certified in order to be able to create those, and we can house all of them here rather than going out and paying someone else to house those servers for us. And once he received training and he keeps up to date on that, then keeping all of those things going is just another part of his job, which is really something that many districts don't have. And so we have numerous examples of these types of things with some of our personnel. And so, like I said, I feel very strongly about the administrative team that we have assembled here, and that we do have, that we are able to provide that very good quality education for our community. So from there, we'd like to move in a little bit into just the realm of board service itself. And so to start out with, I'd like Andrew, as now the board chair, and from having served as the vice chair, to talk a little bit about what board service means from his perspective.
All right, thank you. So first I'll say board service prior to the start of this school year was very different than it has been this year. Board service in a normal state, whatever that might end up being, I mean, participating in the committees, participating in these meetings, that's kind of the main key, right? If you signed up for it, go to it, do your homework before. We always get our information early, and you have plenty of chances to ask questions of Dr. Heller or any of his team or any of the board members if you got points of clarification. So do the stuff, stay caught up, ask questions. That's probably the biggest thing, especially as we go into a relatively busy season of budget work and superintendent search and kind of those things. So make sure you ask all the questions you got, because this is the place we can answer them, and there's a really good chance somebody else has the exact same question. So even though we've been on the board for a while, we might all have the same question. So I encourage you to ask those questions and then just be available, right? Be available to each other for questions and be available to the public, your constituents, and try to gather their input and make sure that when we're making these decisions that we're tasked with, we can do the best job possible, keeping as many people happy as you can and really delivering for the students. I mean, we made a new mission vision statement a couple years ago now.
A couple of years ago.
Where we kind of refocus things on putting students first from cradle to career and try to think about that when we're making unpleasant decisions or whatever we're doing, trying to make sure how's it going to help a student or a child that maybe your child or someone or your neighbor's kid. That's what my words of encouragement are. Just think about those things and then do your homework and participate in. We have access to all kinds of information through the School Boards Association. You get a daily update. I don't know if you guys are signed up for that yet or not, but you get a daily update with all the news breaks of what, not only just legislative stuff, but you get, all that neat stories about what they're trying in this school or that school or what is or isn't working with different, federal programs and things. So do that reading. A lot of it's not heavy reading, but it's good stuff to do. So I guess that's what I would try to focus on. And again, I have to reacclimate myself to what normal is because, it's a very different experience when you can go to a committee meeting and meet with people and see them in person. It's very different now. So it's a different environment that we'll get through and on something else.
Thank you. Kelly and Travis, as two people that have been on the board with a little experience, but for the lesser amount of time, perhaps you'd like to talk a little bit about not only board service from your perspective, but a little bit about what you expected as you came onto the board and what you found out.
You get a little more experience than me.
Well, I would say that I didn't know how much I didn't know when I first was elected. So it was really important for me to attend as much as I could, just so I could become aware of what happened behind the scenes in the district, because there's a lot going on that you just don't know as a parent or a community member. The fact that, yep, we have one employee, Mr. Haller. Dr. Haller is our one and only employee. That's important for us to know. And I think the other thing that was, not that it was new, but it was a good reminder, was what the chain of communication is within the district, going both ways. So when community members come with concerns, they want to jump right to the board, but it's important for them to go through the proper chain of communication, and same with for us. When we've got questions or concerns, it's good for us to start with Dr. Heller, and then he can kind of direct us elsewhere if need be. So I don't know if that helps. Oh, and if I can share one thing, I shared it with Becky, just a little tidbit. When we come to meetings, Dr. Heller is really great to give us weekly updates. Those updates will kind of help you walk through the agenda of each meeting, because there's a lot of acronyms and things that it takes a while to learn. And I usually just follow his update, even still to this day, through the agenda, because it just helps me know exactly, a better idea of what we're talking about on each agenda item.
Yeah, the educational jargon is a
it's a beast.
it's a learning cliff, not just a learning curve.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of acronyms, a lot of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, don't be afraid to just say, what is that? What is that?
What is that?
Because you Travis, anything to add?
I've only been on the board for 14, 15 months, so I've been longer in this state of the world that we live in than a normal state. So yeah, it's hard to say what normalcy is when we get there, but I'm looking forward to it. So in this state, it's a little different. But prior to this state, going to the committee meetings, be involved, it goes a long ways when they see you there, and to see that, we appreciate the work that our school district is doing. It's kind of a thankless job. One of the things that amazed me is this election, I had more than 5 text messages from people that I know that say, hey, we voted for you for school board. Glad to see you running. I was already on the board. People don't, unless there's an issue, they don't kids, so it's a thankless job, but it's one that's very important. So I mean, just to me, that was my thing. And when I look back to 5-10 years ago, I didn't know who was on the school board either. I mean, I didn't have kids in it until it wasn't first thought of mine. So just being public and being there. I still feel like I have a lot to learn as we go into the students learning every meeting.
Thank you. Joe, anything you'd like to add?
Kind of covered, not getting too deep in the weeds. I say that, when normalcy was, I would say my first 3 to 4 years was great. If, you got a phone call or an email once a year, that was about it. In the last 12 months, it's been totally different. And so I really think what Kelly did on chain of command is huge. We'll talk a little more about that. How we go through and communicate, you'll find that I agree with Kelly. I still can say today, I don't know 100% all the schools run from day to day. It's an eye-opening experience. I come from the private sector, and so decisions that are made on the private sector, whether it be hiring, firing, financing, to closing and doing all this fun stuff, you got to almost take that out of the window when you come into the here, because we're on completely different with different regulations, different rules and laws and stuff that kind of go holy. It was an eye opener, and it still is a tendency. So I got to peel back a little bit and look at the private sector. So that was a big change for me. Going at that about, as we got, I think we're going to have a busy year. As we got new store owners, you guys have got a lot of different boards. We've got a new superintendent. Down the road, we got central referendum coming up again. We've got more COVID. We've got more turnover administrations on the road. So you guys are coming in probably at, I don't want to say the worst time, but probably the busiest time as far as the learning cliff. So again, asking questions, don't be afraid to go to Dr. Heller or to Andrew or anybody else, and just, we've all been there and we still are there. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I'll go out, what are you talking about? How does this affect us? Why is this affecting us? Because to me, it seems so straight down the road, and it's not when it comes to public funding and public decision making. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. Be honest with the people in your constituents. I think this is a big thing is, if you don't know, if they're asking you, why does the school do this, or why did we do this? You try to BS them, they're going to find out, and that just, your credibility is just that much less. So don't be afraid to say, great point, I don't know, I'll look into it, and somebody will get back to you. That's probably my other big key takeaway too, because you're not going to know everything. So, you're supposed to.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, and it is important that a lot of times board members get asked to fix things. And the thing that'll get you in trouble the quickest is to promise somebody you're going to fix it. Because sometimes it's not the way people perceive it. Sometimes it is the way people perceive it, but that's just the way it is. I mean, you can't change it because it's that way. Sometimes it's because of statute. Sometimes it's because that's the policies. Sometimes, whatever variety of reasons that it is what it is, and it's not going to